a couple have children. The Baba of a Rebbe on Shushan Purim went with an entourage of Hasidim with their beautiful shtreimels and bekishers to visit different Yungalite in the Baba community in Bar Park. And the Rav stopped by one person's house. And he was a Chashvi Yid, but unfortunately he was married, I think, 18 years or so, and he did not have children. And I'm sure his wife davened and cried, please Hashem, bench me with Zisa Kinderlach. And unfortunately, they did not have their own fruits yet. And the Baba Rebbe asked, can I please have a cup of tea? Regular tea. And the Rav waited for the tea to cool off. Because there's a halacha, we don't say borei nefashos and a hot drink, or too cold to drink, or that if you can't drink, because you have to drink 3.3 ounces in one shot to be required to say borei nefashos. If you don't drink a revius in one shot, you don't say it. So the Rav waited for the tea to cool off, because he wanted to make a bracha achron. He picked up the cup, and he turned to the Eibishter and he said, Rabbeinu Shalom, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam borei nefashos rabbis. And he said with tremendous kavanah, Hashem, you are the king of the world. You are the creator of nefashos rabbis. So many people, so many souls. Think how many billions of people in the world today and how many trillions of people have walked this planet. And the Rav had in mind, he had in Zin, Borei, Hashem, please create nefashos rabbis, many great nefashos for this family that I'm at. And guess what? The Rav left the house and he went into another person's house. And this time, again, that person did not have children for 12 years. What a tzara was for them. And the Rav again asked, can I please have a hot drink of tea? And the Rav waited for the tea to get cool so that he'll be able to drink it down and make a borei nefashos. And again he said, Borei, the creator, nefashos rabbis, you make so many people. And he had in mind, please make for this family many nefashos rabbis. And guess what? That year, both people had children. One had a boy and one had a girl. And about 18 years later, that little boy that was born from the bracha and the little girl that was born from the bracha, can you imagine that? They were both zeicha to get married to each other. And the Baba of a Rebbe was the Tzaddik Kedushin. And they all remembered it was the bracha that the Rebbe gave them on that Heilige Tag of Shushan Purim when he said, Borei nefashos rabbis, Hashem, you create so many people. Look what a bracha with kavanah could do, and who knows how many kinderlach and einiklach came from that bracha of borei nefashos. Wow. Now I want to tell you a story how a bracha saved a soldier's life. It's a true story. There was a soldier in Eretz Yisrael who wasn't from, unfortunately, yet, and he was fighting in the war in Gaza. Now, many children in Eretz Yisrael, you know what they do? They make care packages for soldiers, and they put in it some nash and some food and some cake and sometimes even some toothpaste and mouthwash and deodorant, and they write a little note to the soldier, we hope that Hashem protects you and that you don't get killed, and that you should get rid of the enemies. And one soldier was about to eat orgaliot. It's a snack where there's dough on the outside, chocolate in the middle, and he was about to rip open the box. It was in the middle of a battle. Missiles were falling and bombs. And he took a break in a building that was abandoned just to get energy and take a break. I don't think they had hot coffee in the abandoned building, but they had the snash. But he sees on it a paper. It says, please make a bracha on this before you eat it. So the soldier got out of his seat and he walked across the room to ask a soldier who had a beard, that means obviously he's from, can you tell me please what's a bracha? So he teaches this young soldier, say Baruch. Says Baruch, Ata, Ata, Hashem, Hashem. And meanwhile, this guy's probably 23 years old. And he makes the bracha. And right then, a missile shot right through the building, and it blew up the chair that he was just sitting in. He jumped to the floor crying. He realized if he didn't get up to make a bracha to Hashem, he would have been history. He would have been gone. He would have been another sacrifice. But the bracha saved his life. You know what we learned from the story? When you bless Hashem, Hashem blesses you. Now we can go on to have a family. And who knows how much bracha he's going to see in his life because he was careful to make a bracha. Now I have to tell you a story from the Gemara. The Gemara tells us there were two boys. This is a story about reward and punishment. And they were both eating bread, and one forgot to bench. And he went away from lunch, and the other one, he just didn't have time to bench. He said, I'll bench later. I have 72 minutes. And the one that forgot to bench was going on the way in the wagon, and then he realized, uh-oh, I didn't bench. So he went all the way back, past the forest, over the hill, to the place he was eating, and he gave Hashem a birchas hamazon, a beautiful benching. And then he found a purse of gold and jewels. And he said, wow, Hashem rewarded me on the spot. And now I have enough money to buy more more things. And guess what? He realized, I went and I troubled myself to bench Hashem. Hashem Kaviyachal went and troubled himself to reward me on the spot. Because someone who's careful with benching, it's a segula for parnasa. You know what happened to the boy that said, I'll bench later, I have 72 minutes? Well, guess what? He went for a walk, and unfortunately, he never got to bench because he bumped into a lion, and the lion decided to have him for lunch. We see from this frightening true story, the one who wasn't careful to say a bracha costed his life. The one who was careful to say a bracha, he got very rich. I'm sure they were over bar mitzvah, otherwise he wouldn't have had such a midas hadin to punish him for not benching. Wow. I want to end off with one more great story, and this was in the time of David HaMelech. David HaMelech made a takana that we should say 100 brachas a day. Right after the story, I want to have a raffle for all my dear, precious listeners for behaving so beautifully. David HaMelech woke up one morning and he said, from now on, we're going to make a new rule. Everyone in Klal Yisrael has to make 100 brachas to Hashem a day. That's a lot of work. And he says, you know why? David HaMelech noticed that 100 people were dying every single day. And he says, you know what? I can't have this. This is terrible. How many funerals can I go to? How many Shiva houses can I pay a visit to? David HaMelech said, why was there such a midas hadin in Klal Yisrael? So many people were dying, 100 people a day. He said, this is not normal. And he said, you know what? Maybe if we make 100 brachas a day, we'll be mamtik the din. We'll sweeten Hashem's judgment. And then people won't have to die from sicknesses or accidents or troubles. And guess what? He made the takana. And the Gemara Menachos says, yes, Rameir said it's halacha to make 100 brachas a day. And the Gemara brings a pasuk. It says, Ma Hashem Elokecha shoel me'imach. What does Hashem ask from you? Ki'im liyira. He asks that you should fear him. So the Gemara learns from the pasuk, Ma can also be read as meya. That Hashem wants from us, you know what he wants? 100 brachas a day. And that's what B'nai Emunim is all about. B'nai Emunim wants us to say our brachas, Hayich, Freilich, Lebedik,